Fellowship of Zambia, EFZ, and the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, ZCCB, are saddened at the continued state of political tension in the country and the blatant lack of political will by our leaders to address the root causes of what is obtaining. As church leaders who have a God-given mandate of exercising the prophetic mission in our nation and in our time, we cannot afford simply to stand by, to stand aside and look. Our country today stands at the crossroads, and we are in a crisis. We face many challenges related to governance, the mastering of people's freedoms and human rights violations. As Zambians, we all need to examine our conscience, our collective conscience as a nation, seek the truth, and work towards bringing back hope to our people. We are also mindful of the timely message of the prophet Micah, and I quote, "What is good has been explained to you, man. This is what Yahweh asks of you. Only this, to act justly, to love tenderly, and to walk humbly with your God." This is in chapter 6, verse 8. We strongly believe that more than ever before, our political leaders need to pay heed to this message and put it into practice. As the three church mother bodies, we have always said that our prophetic voice on national issues is only motivated by our wish to see the government do better and succeed. It is in that spirit that we have for several weeks engaged State House officials and sought an appointment to meet the Republican President, His Excellency, Mr. Edgar Lungu. Our aim was to bring to his attention some national issues that are of great concern to the church. Now that we have not been allowed to succeed along that path, we have decided to issue this statement to let the powers that be and the people of Zambia know our position on what is happening in the nation. The Zambia motorcade treason plot, actions by the government of President Edgar Lungu in imprisoning the opposition leader, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, are viewed with growing amazement and alarm. Hakainde Hichilema's arrest for treason was at first dismissed as an intimidatory gimmick by President Lungu himself after the so-called clash of motorcades. Hichilema was arrested on 10th April 2017, and days behind bars for Hichilema have turned in 2 weeks and now 2 months for the leader of the opposition of UPND. In addition, the view that President Lungu is creating a new dictatorship is fast gaining ground, as was expressed in the statement issued by the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, ZCCB, on the 23rd of April 2017. He said, "The country is in awe, accepting designation a dictatorship. And if it is not yet, then we are not far from it," unquote. With the current state of affairs, It is difficult to see how UPND can easily recognize the legitimacy of President Lungu's re-election in August 2016. Hichilema has been in custody since he was arrested in a late-night raid on his home by heavily armed police service personnel who used unprecedented force and brutality in apprehending just one unarmed citizen. The state police brought along dogs of the German Shepherd breed that defecated in the vehicle meant to carry Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Under whose instructions were the police behaving in that way? Instructions of the Inspector General or the Inspector General's Commander-in-Chief? In this country, only senior citizens well over 60 years can remember the British colonial administration using dogs on us Africans. It was unthinkable that the Zambian government would sink so low as to unleash dogs on its own people. The British have been gone for 53 years now, but we are still using the same tactics to intimidate our own people. It is true then that the oppressed people just take on the behavior and style of their oppressors. Are we liberated as a nation, or are we still mentally chained in the ways of our former rulers that include the one-party dictatorship of 1973 to 1991? Outrage over Hichilema's arrest and incarceration is growing within and outside our country. For example, the USA, the European Union, Nigeria on the African continent, Kenya, and South Africa, where two opposition leaders of the Economic Freedom Fighters and the Democratic Alliance have voiced their outrage. Even Zimbabwe's movement for democratic change has sharply criticized President Lungu's actions because it sees the similarities with their own leaders across the Zambezi. The present Patriotic Front administration is avoiding to address the root causes of the present political crisis and tension in this country. Leadership, particularly at national level, requires integrity, truthfulness, honesty, and sincerity. We believe that the political leadership has failed on this score. The truth will set you free, so says our Lord Jesus Christ. There is no substitute for truth. There cannot be national reconciliation and healing through manipulation of truth. The kind of leadership we have now is the one that allows law breaking as long as it benefits the powers that be. If this is not dictatorship, then what is it?
It's dictatorship.
The political leadership must admit that the situation in the country is characterized by tension. The country is polarized. The politicians of the administration must not ignore what is obtaining in Zambia today. It is a contest between good and evil. The church, through its leaders, is determined to stand on the side of good. We are fully aware that more often than not, the fight for justice is not a path filled with many pilgrims, but it is a lonely journey by courageous leaders and a small number of followers. It is often repeated that all evil needs in order to survive, in order to thrive, is silence from good people. It does not matter